when I was a young woman, I read a book by Jane Roberts called The Education of Oversoul 7. And it was a fictional novel in which she paints a picture of this oversoul with several aspects, experiencing many different physical realities, I suppose. But the thing that intrigues me, and I've been thinking about it lately, is the concept that time happens all at once. Is that how it is?
Well, yes, it really is how it is, but the reason that it is awkward and uncomfortable to talk about that in a time-space reality is because here you have evidence of time moving along, and there is value in that feeling of continuity about past, present, and future. And so as you try to overlay this idea of timelessness in this time-space reality, it always gets jumbled, and there is rarely any satisfaction that we feel from any of you who attempt it.
Something that the idea of bleed through, maybe we could learn something from another part of ourself that was maybe learning to play the piano.
Well, all of that is possible. Now let us give something to you here. You have lived many life experiences and are in fact living many life experiences. You are a multifaceted being. The you that you know here in this personality has access to the whole of all of that. In other words, everything that has been experienced by your inner being is now the culmination of all of that. So when we say you have access to infinite intelligence, we're not kidding you about that. All of that exposure to all of those experiences has brought you to keen knowing, and even more importantly, to even keener wanting to know more, you see. So when you realize that, yes, you are this physical extension of all of that, and yes, that expanded part of you exists, and yes, you have access to all of that, but when you approach it from this attitude that, well, there is all that wisdom, and here I am in all of my ignorance or stupidity, now you're not a vibrational match to that wisdom, so now it does not flow through you, you see. It's an interesting thing. You say, well, here is all of this that I have become, or maybe there are all of those other aspects of my life that are out there living brilliant lives and being wonderful, and I need some of that because I'm in my life experience less than I want to be. You don't have access to any of that in your unworthy approach to your own physical experience, you see. And so when you get it that all that has ever been experienced is available to you, and that as you achieve vibrational harmony with anything, then the law of attraction or the manager will yield it to you, then you're not trying to identify the specific crack through which it will come. Sometimes people will say to us, well, I had a past life regression, and they call it past life because it's not this life, and so their human linear thinking says, well, if it's not this life, then it must be past life. And in my past life regression, I was living many things that are similar to what I'm living here now. And we say, well, we are not sure if it was your past life or someone else's that you are picking up on, but one thing is always certain, it is a perfect vibrational match to where you now are. So when you sort of get the whole of what we're talking about here and have an opportunity to chew on it and sort of integrate it into your consciousness, the way this universe begins to unravel for you is you begin to understand that, oh, there have been so many experiences that have been lived, and there are yet so many experiences to be lived, but here is where your focus is, and here is the plate that you pick from, and here is where you gather your feeling place, and when you do, the universe will always yield proportionately and appropriately to you. There's a lot of trying to reach around from the outside in that doesn't work very well. And there's a little bit of that going on with that. In other words, things are not as perfect as I would like them to be here, and in that past life I achieved that talent, so maybe that talented aspect of me could help me out a little bit here. And we say, you don't have access to that talented aspect of you any more than you have access to somebody that would help you here and now.
Right.
Yes. Good time for segment of refreshment. Come to our realm where there is not time, and we'll chat on and on and on. We are complete.